to
Chew on Something, where we chew on something for the taste buds and the mind.
And we're so excited to share our journey, our love of sisterhood,
Our love of convo and great food.
Hey!
We need some joy before we get into this.
Yes. And before we get into our first episode, we just want to warn everyone this is going to be very sensitive content that we're going to be talking about.
So they're throwing out a disclaimer that there will be a trigger warning. This is our verbal trigger warning.
Yes.
But some people may find the subject matter triggering. So just letting you know ahead of time, and I guess we'll jump in.
Yes. I mean, we were triggered for a long time, so.
Hey, facts.
Yeah.
So we've always been really comfortable about talking about the childhood abuse, the physical abuse that we experienced as young children.
I mean, we opened up about it probably around like 4 years ago. We started talking about the physical abuse we experienced for over a decade.
Right, but, we never publicly reveal the sexual abuse that we experienced as children. And let me tell y'all, this is something that I still get really emotional talking about. It's very difficult for me to still talk about the subject matter with close loved ones, with my sister. Sorry, we have this mic.
Yeah.
We're trying to give you quality sound, but I can't hug my sister. I want to, so now I gotta go.
Yeah, we're probably gonna have to figure something else out because there's a long stick, so it's like, we're huggers and
it doesn't fit our hugging aesthetic.
Yeah.
All right.
But
as long as you get the sound right. But it's something that I personally haven't been comfortable talking about with even my close family members and close friends. There's very few people in our life that knew about the sexual abuse. Our mother was the first person that we told, and we'll explain that whole dynamic later. But our mom's a rock. She's amazing. She's our triplet.
She's our triplet. She's our best friend.
Yes. But I just came to terms fairly recently with being comfortable talking about this publicly. And see, Brianna reached that journey a long time ago, but she was really patient with me. Never rushed me. She said, you ready? You ready? When you're not, you're not.
Yeah.
Go to the grave if you're not ready.
I tried to sugarcoat it, and I was like, TK was a little bit, and TK was like, no.
A whole lot.
Let me correct you.
A whole lot uncomfortable talking about it.
She was like,
a little bit.
You weren't a little bit ahead of me in your healing journey. Yeah. You were a whole lot, and that has nothing to do because it's called patience, and everyone has a different time frame in their healing journey.
And we experience different things in our trauma and our abuse, which we'll get into, which made me think why I was reticent about addressing the subject.
But I think for us, might be easier for people to kind of understand like the family dynamic. And, now it's not a thing. Now it's nothing new, which is how it should be. But back in the day,
the stereotypical way of thinking of the family dynamic.
Back in the day, our mom was a financial caretaker. So
she was a breadwinner.
Yep. And she was taking care of all of us while our dad stayed at home and he took care of us while she went to work. She was working a corporate job, going to one of the top universities in the country. So we would see her in the morning, we would see her at night before we went to bed.
She was our hero. She was a superwoman.
Yeah, truly a superwoman. And then also maintaining motherhood on top of that. So all the abuse that happened was when she was out of the home.
Right. And, I know some people may be listening to our story and think, oh, how could your mom not know? Let me stop you there. As Brian explained the dynamic, our mom didn't know. Also, our father threatened to kill our mother and kill us if we told her or anyone. So you can only imagine how much that we love our mother, how good a secret we were at keeping this abuse clandestine from her out of fear for her life, fear for our lives.
Right.
And, our father was very manipulative, but he also had, I like to think of him as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He had two sides to him. multiple sides, but two major ones.
Right.
One, he was very charismatic. Had this
Very
very fun,
charismatic.
jovial side. If you met him, you would love him right
everyone
away.
loved him.
Till you really got to know him. And then he had this other side that was just, was evil. And, you know, it was really confusing as two little kids to see this dichotomy between parents, right? Having this beautiful, absolutely incredible mother who was very loving and compassionate, and then having a father. And even the dichotomy within our father, who was he could be compassionate and fun and what seemed like loving. And then this other side that was completely, as you say, insidious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a monster.
Yeah.
I mean, all I knew.
As a kid, that's what it seems like. He was a monster.
I mean, like, he wore a hat and glasses. And I knew when he took off his hat, this was a level degrees of abuse. And I'm not trying to laugh at it now, but
sometimes you gotta laugh.
Sometimes you gotta laugh. And, you know, when he took off those glasses, and that's when I knew that the physical abuse was going to be strong.
Yeah, so did I. Whenever I saw the glasses come off, because I knew he didn't want to break them.
Because that's how
abusing us.
Yeah, that's how vicious the abuse was.
And, you know, I had a really difficult time on my journeys because, you know, it's still, as an adult, it's very painful to say these words, that my father tried to rape me when I was 9 or 10, and he didn't go through with it. I remember saying no. I mean, there was lots of times he said no during the abuse. This was one of the few times that he listened. But, you know, as an adult, I still get very emotional and tearful talking about this stuff. And I'm not embarrassed or ashamed to hide my emotions anymore, because I think that you start to hit some real problems in your life when you harbor those emotions internally. You don't find a positive release, positive activity, talk to someone, therapy, talking to the right person, because the wrong person can be just as much of a detriment to your journey of healing as internalizing it and not really seeing it in a positive way. So, you know, I no longer feel embarrassed or ashamed, but I felt shame. Ooh, that shame.
Yeah.
Dirty little beast, that shame.
And then also, too, through, you know, because this was something that TK didn't reveal to me until about maybe like 6 years ago. Yeah. She first told me that our father tried to rape her. And when she told me that, like, everything clicked.
Waterproof mascara and napkins. I told Cibrano those were the two things I need today. Because, you know, I always wear mascara.
But, you know, for me, when she told me that, that's when everything clicked. And though our father never tried to rape me, he did everything but. So there was no penetration. And I always used to think why he never took it that far. I used to think about that. I was like, well, why didn't he, you know, try to rape me? Because, you know, he did everything but. And I think about maybe it had to do with something, the strength that TK showed when she was 9 or 10. And I'm not saying because that she said no, because this happens in so many cases.
There's strength regardless.
There's strength regardless, whatever the circumstances that happen after, during, how you get through it, how you get past it, how you healing through it. Like,
right.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that because she showed that strength there, it may have had something to do with why he had never tried it with me. Yeah. And it also made me think why TK was in a different place of her healing journey than I was, because I forgave my father before TK started to forgive him in certain ways.
Yeah, it took me a lot longer to forgive him.
Right.
A lot longer.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I revealed that, like, fairly recently, within the last few years, to you about that particular trauma, you said that you could understand why it took me longer. But I also think that it's a beautiful place where you are in your journey of healing, because I held on to a lot of, and I know you did too, I held on to a lot of anger towards our father. And I was never the type of person to take it out on anyone because, you know, I'm a firm believer, you're a firm believer, and you treat others how you wish to be treated, and hopefully you don't want to be treated like an asshole.
We from Baltimore, y'all.
Baltimore.
So
and it is Baltimore.
No T in there.
If someone goes to you, I'm from Baltimore. Nope.
There's
they lying.
a Baltimore.
They lying.
No, you know,
they
you
lying.
throw that T out and you roll it. It's called Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Baltimore or B-more?
Baltimore.
B-more.
So we from Baltimore. We about a man.
So that's considered the South.
Excuse me, pardon me. You know, if someone came at me the wrong way or wasn't mannerable when I was in my early 20s, I would have popped off to put them in their place.
Oh,
you know,
we were quick to pop off.
She was worse. She was worse than me. You know, don't let the size fool you. She tiny but mighty. Tiny but mighty.
I mean, we're also tall too, so
yeah, tall, tiny, and mighty.
I'm 5'11". We're both like 5'11" without heels, so we were tall, but you know, I was quick to pop off.
Yes, and you
the
know,
lady did know the streets.
Yes.
I knew the street game.
She was about that, you know, not the street life. Not that street life. But she had street in her.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we were, can you, we were, we had.
She can't even get it right.
We had a bit of thug.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of the thuggy thug.
Yeah, we had a little thug in us.
We did.
Back in the day. But, you know, now, if someone comes at me in that manner, I'll just laugh it off because it's not worth my energy. I mean, I'm not above a classic clapback. I know you said that.
Yeah, I don't got the time.
She doesn't have the time. But, you know, sometimes I do got the time.
Yeah, she does.
I do got the time.
She got time to show a little teachable lesson.
We in different places in our healing journey. And this healing journey, I got time for a classic clapback.
I have more patience with the hair, but...
Hair questions.
Yeah, hair questions. Yeah,
I don't have patience.
Yeah.
Not a lot. I have some patience. But yeah, you know, holding on to that anger.
And I just want to say, I think the reason why now, like, you know, we have no energy for it is because we also understand where it's coming from.
Right.
A lot of times
people are projecting.
They're projecting their insecurities, they're projecting unhealed traumas. Like when you start to really sit down and understand the entire scope of how people behave and how they treat others, look into their past.
And, you know, I always said, oops, it's going loud and sound.
Oh, but show the cup. It says rise above.
Hey.
Keep shining.
What was it said? Above me? That's above me. There was this viral video, and this guy and this woman was being nasty to him. He's like, that's above me. It's above me. Rise above.
Yeah.
Rise above me.
And keep on shining.
But yeah, you know, also, right, like talking about that anger, and I was so angry at our father. And I always try now, I never use the word hate when describing anything. I mean, because hate has real manifestations on the body. But, you know, I hate raisins. I hate raisins. I hate fruitcake. I'll say that.
Don't put a raisin in anything.
No.
No.
By itself, it's fine.
I like raisins
by itself.
It's cute.
By itself, they're cute. But in anything.
It's just nasty.
So I never say I hate anyone or anything except raisins and fruitcake. So, but you know, like hate, you know, you can really feel it. And I was exhausted by that hate. You know, whether someone deserved it or not deserved the wrath, I didn't deserve it.
Right.
I didn't deserve to feel it. I didn't deserve to harbor those emotions. Rings falling off, just let it drop. Let's take these rings off. Yeah. Jeez.
It's releasing. You're talking about releasing. The jewelry's flying off. I was like, oh.
Energy's like, let me lighten that load. Yeah, you know, but yeah, so
but because it's energy that you could be using towards something else.
Right. You could be exerting it towards something positive for yourself.
Like healing.
Right. Exactly.
Healing yourself.
And I was just exhausted by it.
It's a heavy load.
Right. But you know, but it was understandable why we had these feelings of hate for our father. You know, the things that we went through with him, and the physical abuse of him, like, you know, hitting me upside the head with the butt of a gun.
Right. So when we talk about, you know, physical threats, so, you know, a lot of times you'll hear younger kids be like, oh my God, my parents will kill me.
If I do this.
My dad will kill me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my mama. No.
Yeah, we
straight up no.
because we experienced life-threatening incidents with our father.
Yeah, I mean, he said that he would take our mother's life. He said he would take TK's life. He said he would take our life, and then he showed it as well.
Right.
So he had a gun. He would play Russian roulette. He hit TK over the head because
I refused to give him
the bullets.
He told us a week ago. I remember that week, like yesterday. It's like, oh, hide the bullets. Don't give them to me under any circumstances. Then he asked us for them before we head off to school. We refused to give it to him. He hits me upside the head with the gun. I say no. I said no again. He hit me upside the head again. And I thought I'd rather him hit me upside the head with this gun than have a bullet and shoot me. That's what I was thinking. Right. And then we had to go to school. Or beating us when we were very young. I remember this. He would beat us naked in a bathtub with a little water with extension cord. And I always thought, why would he beat us with, not why would he beat us with extension cord? He picked up anything to beat us, but why did he do it in a bathtub with a little bit of water? And it was like, oh, easy cleanup. I realized that when we were older.
And he would do it in their core because, we would have lacerations and cuts from that. And when he did those kinds of abuse, then, just to do it in the core of our body so it could hide it with clothing. And then tell our mom when she gets home, like, oh, you had a long day at work. Let me take care of everything. And then he would, get us dressed and stuff for school. So it was very meticulous.
And, so no one would be able to tell, and we were dealing with this abuse every day between mental, physical and sexual.
And then also dealing with bullying at school and then racism because we grew up in Maryland.
Yeah.
So it was constant every day for, over a decade.
Yeah, and, as an adult, because I felt so much shame, one of the reasons why I was really reticent about talking about this subject, what we experienced is because, I had compassion for the young man and young boy our father used to be. I know that he went through his own trauma. I highly suspect that he was sexually abused himself. He was unable to break the cycle of trauma.
Yeah, I mean, he grew up in the streets of Philadelphia. He had to take care of himself.
He was homeless and, at a very young age.
In and out of jail.
Prison, served time in prison. And, eventually he went to a psych ward. Well, get into that later. But, thinking about him during those rough times, I had compassion for that. And thinking, what are people going to think about our father? And I know that's probably a weird stance or incomprehensible for some people to sort of dissect why I would feel that way. But, I did feel sorry for our father in a sense for what he went through. But it was becoming a hindrance on my upward mobility
but I think
healing.
That's a beautiful quality to have because compassion... This world needs a lot more compassion. It needs a lot more compassionate people. And, I feel that's one of the strongest qualities to have because it takes a lot of strength to have compassion for someone that did that to us. And because honestly, you can't have forgiveness without compassion. I mean, you can't. Literally, if you want to forgive someone, you have to be compassionate to yourself.
Yeah, it takes a great deal of compassion to forgive someone. And to be honest, I hadn't reached that point in a long time.
But, I held on to a lot of anger as well. Anger, pain, and shame. And I also had a lot of anger because I also felt helpless when I was younger. I wanted to help my sister. And I just felt so helpless. So I had a lot of anger actually to myself as well. Because I felt that, in some sense, I felt that maybe I could have been stronger to deal with it. But now as I've gotten older,
you're hella strong.
I see how much strength it took to deal with that. And also the fact that we never sat down and talked about it. We never thought about it. It was so easy to just get through everything by brushing it off.
Right.
That was our coping mechanism.
Yes. That's, when we talk about this amongst ourselves, I always said I would minimize.
Yes.
Oh, that's just something that we went through as kids. Oh, it's not a big deal. And I would minimize it. And you said, oh, yeah, that's a coping mechanism. And I never looked at that way. It was just my sort of way to brush it off and not deal with it, which is why I always get annoyed when I hear people question people like, oh, why did it take you 5, 10, 20, 30 years to say something? And 99.9% of the time...
Because it's none of your damn business.
Yeah, none of your damn business. Why it took so long.
Yeah.
But, 99.9% of the time, people that ask that question have never been through that trauma. Because the first thing you think of is not that question. You think of, wow, they've reached this place in their journey of healing where they feel they're able to share this with someone.
Yeah, and that's not something to be taken lightly.
Because especially, I know we broached it lightly, talking and revealing something as traumatic as this to someone. I want to bring it in there. Just please make sure it's the right person.
Right.
Make sure it's someone that, will be compassionate, understanding. Because that's traumatic within itself. To tell someone that won't believe you or will ignore you to give someone a fair shot. It's also traumatic to hear and they may not know how to react.
Yes. Yeah, that's very
so I don't
true.
think that you should shut someone out if they don't give you the reaction that you want or think you need. Because that might just mean that you need to have another conversation with that person about how they're feeling about what you told them, But do make sure that you speak to the right one, because we have a lot of talks about mental health and therapy and going to therapy. But I think for those people who aren't ready for therapy and do have close friends, if you do decide to tell someone, make sure that person's the right person.
Right. And I know for us, there were, because we were still holding on to this anger and this pain and this shame, but we weren't conscious of it. It's not like you walking around and be like, oh, I'm so angry. Oh, you know what? I feel so ashamed.
Right.
I feel so much shame.
Or you feel like telling someone these feelings,
And, but, especially with the anger, that was something that I wasn't very conscious of until I saw it coming out in personal relationships. Because, the thing is when you hold on to trauma in a way where you're not going through a healing journey, but you're holding on to it in ways that you subconsciously have no idea that you're still holding on to it, it will manifest itself in every element of your life, whether you're aware of it or not. So mine was coming out through personal relationships, like who I was dating was an example of...
I always thought it was really insightful that you said that, you could tell the level of healing that you reached based on the investments, who you invested a relationship into.
Yeah,
who you invested your emotions into.
And, for us, that was something that was manifesting in little ways. But also, too, when they say, there's certain people, they're called, like, highly functional. Like, you can still get things done. Like, you don't let it, debilitate yourself in a way where you can't get anything done. And that's very much how TK and I were. We were very high functioning despite all the abuse and the trauma that we were dealing with. But it was hurting us in ways that we weren't so conscious, we weren't conscious of then.
And, I do have to say this as well, that I know personally, I don't feel like I would have been able to get through this trauma without my twin sister. It was just a little diminutive reason why I think we're so close because of the trauma. I think it's a big reason why we're so close because of the trauma we experienced, but it's just a small part of the reason why I feel close to you.
Right. TK and I always say that, we felt like the universe saw this one little egg and split that right into two because it saw a glimpse of our future. And it was like, hell to the no.
You ain't doing this alone.
That one little girl is not going to be able to survive this alone. So I split that egg into two.
And also with that said, all the trauma that we went through, I realized how lucky we are to have each other because there's a lot of children that go through it alone and they don't have anyone. And I think about how courageous they are, to go through that alone and survive, I never say we're a victim.
Exactly.
We are survivor. I'm not gonna let go. I'm gonna survive, keep on surviving.
Get used to this, y'all. But, this is part of
Yeah.
who we are and how we survived,
Right.
is like showing, all the moments of joy, like even despite pain and trauma.
Yes. It's essential. It's essential. And, finding moments of joy and surviving through it with joy, I think is one of the big reasons why we made it out okay on the other side of this trauma.
And I also know for me to know that I had someone in my life that was a constant, that understood what I was going through. Like, because a lot of times when this kind of abuse happens, you feel alone because you're like, who can understand what I'm going through? Who's going to believe me? Who can I trust to even though we didn't physically like talk about it, we knew there was an unspoken language between us.
And I think that people that are listening to her story will be like, oh, well, how could your mom not know? And I'm like, let me make it clear. Roll it back. I think it's very hard for some people to understand, like, why did your mom not know? And, that's how good a manipulator our father was, and how good we were of keeping a secret. Because we were like, our mom's life and our lives are in our hands by keeping this secret. And as we said, he didn't hit us in visible places, so our mom didn't see, our teachers didn't see, but, it was crazy carrying this burden at such a young age for so many years.
And another reason why I figured out later in life along our healing journey is why we never cried about a lot of things, because our father during the abuse would always tell us not to cry. And he was like, if you cry, it's only going to make the abuse worse. So I feel like in his way, it was easy for him to do these acts of violence towards us if he didn't see our emotions. And of course, we weren't conscious of this until later in life.
And, now I'm older. Woo! I don't have any emotions, and the floodgates have just opened.
Yep.
They've just opened.
Yes.
And
I had a sound meditation 5 years ago. It was the first time. And, memories of the trauma came back up. And, my body released everything I was holding on to for like decades and decades. And it wasn't like a wailing and bawling, but it was just like tears were streaming down. It just felt like a release. Yeah.
Like river.
Like
Did you cry me a river?
Or the river runs through it, because that's how much water was releasing through me. That's how many tears was coming through. You could have, a river run through it.
I went JT, you went Carly Simon.
No, I was talking about, wasn't there a river run through it?
Didn't she have a song called River?
I thought that movie.
It was in Working Girl.
Oh, really?
The theme song was River something.
Oh, a river run
One of
through
our
it.
listeners might
What's
know.
a film I love that has Brad Pitt and...
Oh, Lord. Brad Pitt and Elliot. Well, not the guy from...
Was it Anthony Hopkins was in it?
Yes,
He
Anthony
played the
Hopkins was in
father.
it. Yes.
A river runs through it? Or...
No, it wasn't a river runs through it. We'll think of it.
We'll think of it.
Yeah.
Actually, we'll think about it, because this might be a good time to take a break. Talk about rivers. It's hot in here. I could use a river. Woo!
Yeah, definitely a good time to take a break.
Trying to give you quality sound and quality lighting.
Yeah, but you sacrifice one for the other. But
Yeah, I had to turn the AC off. Ooh, I could use a Beyonce fan, a real solid
one. Oh, yes,
one.
honey.
Okay.
That Babe fan.
Yes. Okay, we're going to take a break.
Yeah.
So we're taking a break.
Woo, we need it. I need it.
Trying to fuel our bodies with something good.
And our minds.
Because it's important when you're under stress, dealing with abuse, dealing with trauma, healing, your soul, your mind, your body, your
Everything.
Your spirit.
Everything.
It's good to feel it. It's good to feel it, yes.
Yes.
But I meant to say fuel it.
Yes. Positive release. That's
Yes.
what we're talking about. Positive release.
To fuel it with something very healthy. So I'm going to make a little smoothie. And it's going to have spinach. But don't turn the channel yet. It's going to...
I don't blame some of y'all. It'll be like, spinach.
Stay with us.
It gets better.
Bananas, mangoes, a bit of orange juice, almond milk, and lemongrass. And honestly, I do like to use, it's better to use an actual orange versus the juice itself because fruit contains a lot of sugar, but the fiber and whole fruits helps your body process the sugar in a much more healthy and sustainable way. So when you like drink juices or extract the juice from the fruit, it's not protected by that fiber, so your body is exposed to all the sugar that's in fruit instead of having that extra layer of fiber.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
so I mean, I am.
Yeah, but is it going to taste good? Is it going to taste good?
It's gonna taste good.
Well, that's good to know. It's really informative.
Just my nutritional
She's a health
investigation.
She got in real shape, during COVID and stuff. Like, I ate, I enjoy food. I gained weight. Like, I gained a whole new chin. Like, hey, gained a whole new chin. I call her the colonizer.
She named it, y'all.
I named her the colonizer because she took over a territory on my body without my permission. Get out of here, colonizer. Get over here. Anyway.
But we're going to change all that.
Yeah, we're going to get this colonizer out of here with some mangoes and orange juice and spinach and all this good stuff.
Oh, and also cinnamon.
Cinnamon. You were telling me this really interesting fact about cinnamon.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really good after a workout, actually.
But it has a lot of great health benefits.
Yes, I mean, it does. But cinnamon's actually really good for post-workout.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to it. Okay. This is not going to be pretty, y'all. So if you're looking for something that's like, what's that show on Netflix? Chef's Table. Maybe eventually in the future it could be turning something, but right now,
we're not going to stuff flying everywhere, with our hair all over the kitchen.
Yes. Thank you. I mean, my version of Chef's Table is I actually kind of measured this out for y'all. So this is 1.5 banana, and it looks slimy like this. Actually, because
I usually don't like bananas, and if I do like bananas, it's when they're not at their most ripest.
Right, but these are frozen, so my partner kind of showed me a little trick. You freeze the banana so it has more of a thick consistency. So I use like fresh spinach, and then actually froze some spinach as well.
She can make anything. She can make something out of nothing. Like, you got 3 ingredients in your cabinet, and you think, oh, what am I going to eat? She'll make you a 4-course meal. She is really talented when it comes to making something. And I'm really talented at tasting and eating it.
Oh, but she's excellent at making cocktails.
Oh, I can make a cocktail. I can throw down when it makes cocktails.
Yeah,
Thank you.
She makes some mean cocktails, some mean mixologies.
We will be doing cocktails on this as well.
Yes, we will.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's, we'll also feature some treats and stuff here and there.
Everything in moderation.
But so this is a cup of spinach, actually, and then 1.5 bananas, and then about a cup of almond milk.
Yeah, I haven't drank dairy milk in years and years.
I haven't
and years.
drank it in like over a decade. But
I might break it for some good ice cream.
Right, or dessert.
Every once in a while.
Some dessert that has like dairy in it, I will break it to try, but drinking... Generally, yeah.
About the oat milk, the almond milk, the cashew milk. There's all types of milk. You can make milk out of anything these days.
I love oat milk.
Yeah.
And this is a cup of orange juice. And then 2 cups of mango. Frozen mango. You can use fresh as well.
Okay. My stomach's already growling.
Then the cinnamon.
Lemongrass. Oops. Knocking over the quality sound, sis. They're going to hear everything.
Yeah. They will hear that. That sound was me knocking over the microphone. And then the lemongrass. I use about, if you take 1 stalk of lemongrass and then peel it, I use about 4 stalks. So it comes in 1 long stalk, but I peel it.
Okay.
So almost like an onion. So I peel it like four times or whatever. And then,
why?
Oh, just because.
Okay.
There's no particular reason, actually.
The only thing I peel is corn, so, gotta ask questions. Lemongrass. Yeah.
Well, I guess because lemongrass, the stalk is so thick in itself, so it's easier to peel it for the blender to break it down.
I trust you.
Oh, we still got a little bit of mango in
We
here.
sure do. I saw that go in the sink. I was like,
I didn't even notice that. We'll see how this blender be working. She's held out as long as she could. She didn't know she was going to be making smoothies all day, every day.
She like, I signed up for a smoothie per day. Between you and your partner, you got me working overtime. Smoothie for breakfast, smoothie for lunch, smoothie for pre-dinner, smoothie for dinner, smoothie for dessert.
Oh, God bless her little heart. Little engine that could.
You can do it. You can do it.
Let's see how this goes.
Okay.
I'm tripping.
What'd you forget?
The protein powder.
You forgot love? Oh, protein powder.
I forgot the protein powder.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Grass-fed whey protein concentrate, so it doesn't have all the BS ingredients in it.
Okay.
You're looking for a protein powder because a lot of them contain sugar.
Oh, really?
Or they say they don't contain sugar and they contain...
I was like, that doesn't sound like a exciting ingredient to me.
They contain other forms of sugar.
I used to say the cover.
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
No, you can leave it there.
No, I meant.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just going to pour the whole thing.
Yeah, sure.
So I use 2 scoops because 2 people drink the smoothie, so.
I was like, she forgot the most important ingredient. I was like, protein? That sounds like an ingredient that I could do without. But, you know, it's good for the body.
No, it's good for you.
Yeah, that sounds good for you.
Especially if you're not eating a lot of meat.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, for me.
Wow. Nice little color.
Yeah.
Like
a puke green.
I was thinking more mint. Like a mint green was more appeasing, but puke green works.
It's gonna taste so good. And depending on it, I usually like a thicker consistency.
Mm-hmm.
So I would add a little less orange juice and a little less almond milk to it.
Okay. Ooh. You did your thing on this. You put your foot in this.
Mm-hmm. Not actually. Because it wouldn't taste as good.
It's delicious. Wow.
I guess this will help us go back into the...
We have to.
No, we can just finish off the episode or just...
Okay, sounds good. No, I want to go back. Okay. Okay, y'all. So we back and we remembered Legends of the Fall.
Actually, TK remembered, but yes.
But it's one of her favorite movies.
A river runs through it. A Legends of the Fall. Somewhere there was water involved in that. All.
Yeah, it went on a different tangent.
Yeah, it went on to a different tangent.
But
we maybe
back.
some of you got it.
Yes. Well, that smoothie you made was off the hook. You know.
Thank you, sis.
I mean, I'm not about that smoothie life, but I totally become about that smoothie life because you can make so many interesting and fun ones. You know, healthy food doesn't have to be boring like I used to think. I was like, oh, it's boring. You know, all the fun food is unhealthy, but that's a myth.
I mean, for me, like I just had to change the way I ate because it just helped a lot during my healing journey, and I was a huge sugar addict, so constantly eating sugar, and you know. Good food makes you feel better, helps with depression, anxiety. Because bad food,
you ate like a whole.
Yeah, like a whole birthday cake.
Oh, it's like a whole.
Birthday cake. Yeah, my partner was like when he first met me, he said he never knew someone that could compete with him, and he eats a lot.
But a whole birthday cake.
Yeah, a whole birthday cake, girl. That would be like dinner for me. Yeah,
I love birthday cake. I don't know whether to be impressed or concerned.
Be concerned.
I'll be both. I'm like, what's impressive?
Yes, I had to change the way I looked at food and looked at it as fueling.
I'm still working on it because, you know, I gained weight during the pandemic, but, you know, I'm not beating myself up. I'm not, you know, I like being thick, but, you know, I also want to be healthy. And me being healthy means I have to slim down because naturally I'm just going to lose weight the healthier I become. But I'm not beating myself up. A lot of people gain weight during pandemic and over the last few years, and I'm one of them. But, you know, I love me at all times, you know. No matter what size this vessel is, I love me, you know. I love me. Yeah. But, talking about how trauma can affect you in different ways, I always thought it was interesting how as identical twins, we shared a lot of the same trauma. Some things were different, but as identical twins, we have very different journeys of healing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some of y'all are saying, y'all identical twins?
Yes,
we're identical twins.
We are
Identical
twins.
doesn't mean that you look alike. It means your DNA is exactly the same.
But
and as kids, we looked exactly alike.
we looked exactly
alike.
alike.
And you can tell how many times I've heard this rant, and people be like, are you sure? Yes, like we're not sure.
I mean,
like our mama not sure. Yes, we're identical.
In our childhood photos, it's hard for me to tell us apart.
I'll edit it in so our childhood photos swap up. They go like this. I'll make it slide. Yeah, we looked identical or low. But, I always think it's interesting how our journeys of healing were very much different, even though albeit we experienced very much of the same trauma.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something that we really want to go into for the next episode about like healing and our journeys regarding that, and especially talk a little bit more also on forgiveness.
Yeah, I was watching this interview with Tyler Perry and Kevin Hart's show. And Tyler Perry...
Heartbeat Productions.
Yeah, I think it's called Heart to Heart.
Yeah.
It's a great name for a show. And he was interviewing Tyler Perry, and Tyler Perry said that he had forgiven his father, and he still sends his father a check every month. And he said he only does that because his mother asked him to. But he said he doesn't get to have a relationship with me, so that's his biggest loss. And I always think about that by our father. That's
he sends his father a check?
Yeah, he sends them every month.
I mean, we don't got that Tyler Perry money, but...
We sure don't. Not yet.
But even so, if anybody's going to be getting a check...
It's our mama.
It's going to be our mama.
Exactly.
But, again, like, this is what compassion looks like. It's so multifaceted. The fact that he'll do that because his mother...
Yes. And he's reached a level of forgiveness where he's willing to... And also, it shows the compassion he has for his mom.
Right.
Even though I'm sure that he probably wouldn't have done that on his own. Or maybe he would have. But the fact that his mother asked him to. Just shows you the level of healing that he's at. And some people won't understand that, Like,
and because of that, forgiveness is not easy.
No, it's not. And
I mean, if it was easy, this world would be a very different place.
Yeah. And, I think that's something that we'll touch upon a lot more in our next episode. Might need a cocktail break for that one.
Yes, yeah. I mean, because, like, also, too, you think about forgiveness. It's not only forgiveness to the perpetrator, but mostly I'm talking about forgiveness for yourself.
Yeah, so we'll definitely break into that for the next episode.
Yeah, for the next episode. Yeah. Because we're actually going to finish these smoothies that we made during the break.
Are.
Because we type of ladies that really like to enjoy.
And we don't waste food.
No, we do not.
Nothing goes waste in this household. That's how we were raised. That's how I live my life, I don't have to eat it all at once. I can save it.
Exactly.
And if it's in the refrigerator for 2 to 3 days, best believe I'm going to eat it. So if you see it in there, don't think because it's in there for 2-3 days, I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to eat it. I get pissed when people eat my leftovers. You can see how many times I've been through this.
I know. I'm a slow eater, and slow eating is actually very much good for your digestive system.
Okay, health master.
It's actually much better to eat food slowly versus rushing. It's just so much better for your digestive system.
I believe you.
I believe you. Touche.
Okay. So, I just want to thank people in advance for their compassion and kindness. This is a very sensitive subject. Certainly the most difficult thing that I've ever revealed about our past. This wasn't an easy one for me, but I do want to, again, thank people for the compassion and kindness.
And taking the time to listen to what we had to say. And also, if anyone has any questions regarding this subject, we're also going to do a little Q&A as well.
So any questions you have about what we experienced. No hair questions. We'll get to that. I know you got your hair questions. We'll get to that on an episode.
Yes.
Or maybe the episode that some people are waiting for.
Oh, man. This might be but, you be talking about something serious, pouring your heart out, and people be like, how long you been natural, girl? What oils do you use? What's
your hair regimen? Like, man, just talking about this trauma in our childhood. Yeah, but what shampoo do you use?
Give me the deets.
We'll give them to you. I mean, we'll need a cocktail break for that one.
Yes.
We'll do a whole episode dedicated to hair.
Hair, yes.
Because I know that's what some people are just waiting on. They're like, okay, okay, about the hair.
Yeah. But for now,
yes,
this is something that's very important for us and what we wanted to discuss. So
look how our voice just dropped for now. So, okay.
you gonna take this information?
They believe you.
Oh, the old people are coming out.
No, for now, you're going to listen.
Okay. Ooh,
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode.
Chew on something.